it begins with being able to measure your building's performance. So the first thing is there's got to be meters and sensors and other things which are put in place, because what you cannot measure, you cannot analyze. And what you cannot analyze, you cannot improve. So it starts with measurement. So you have to put in all these sensors and meters and all that so that you know what is the baseline where you're currently standing at. Number one. Then, based on the kind of infrastructure you have, you need to put in the right kind of controllers, the right kind of software, the right kind of solution, which is where people like us come in to craft the right kind of solution based on inputs that we get from the customer, based on site visits, based on past history. And then it really comes about developing the right kind of sequence with which a building needs to be run. So by sequence, it means a series of if this, then that kind of statements which are built into the platform. That comfort needs to be maintained. That's a given. Comfort, air quality, and the rest of it. That is how people will stay productive inside the building and not fall sick. But at the same time, you want to deliver that comfort by using the least possible amount of your resources like chilled water, resources like electricity and all. So it's a balancing act, and that's where these sequences and that's where the right kind of fitment of the solution comes in. And as long as one has these in place, and of course these days you add a layer of machine learning to make it more efficient. You add a layer of cloud computing so that you don't have local storage. It's everything on the cloud. You're getting faster processing. You're getting unlimited storage. And nowadays, you're adding a layer of AI on top of it so that it's able to process a lot of information and undertake those changes automatically without much human intervention at all. So the net result is people are more comfortable. Buildings are consuming 10, 15, 20, 30% less energy than before. So in a nutshell, that's how the technologies are making buildings more energy efficient. The regulatory framework. So, yes, there are some guidelines and some regulations that one needs to navigate through. So, in India, there are certain standards. For example, for radio frequency, one has to operate between certain permissible bandwidths. The equipment has to be of a certain rating and tested and certified by certain approved agencies or bodies. So those are norms that one needs to first know what exactly one has to identify and then make sure that your products are submitted for testing by the relevant agencies and then the certifications are obtained. In case they don't pass, then that feedback needs to go back to product design and engineering, and the necessary changes need to be made in the product, and then the product submitted again for these certifications and approvals. So those are there. There are standards that the government has for customers also, but often these are not very stringent or don't have a lot of weight behind them. As a result, the penetration of these kinds of solutions is still fairly low. So we wish there would be more government guidelines and more standards that should come out for smart buildings so that customers fall in line with those and that overall everyone can save energy and have smarter buildings. Yes, so what AI does is to manage multiple systems inside a building simultaneously. So we're talking about, let's say, the air side of it, the water side of it, lighting systems, occupancy systems, fire suppression systems, water leak detection systems. All of these systems can be managed by this one AI-backed control layer that's there. The AI system also learns on a continuous basis. For example, if a certain room gets overheated between 2 to 4 p.m. every Wednesday, then if it happens a few times, the AI-based system learns that this is a pattern and it starts preconditioning that room 15 minutes before the meeting happens so that there's no discomfort. Or if the AI system learns that a certain wing of the building gets empty at 4:30 p.m. every day and nobody is there, it starts restricting the airflow to that part of the building so that energy is saved. So um, that's one aspect of it, learning and configuring the HVAC system so as to align with what it's observing. But the second part of the AI backed system is that it will take in a lot of outside parameters like weather inputs, um, the weather forecasting data, the individual preferences that are put in by customers and by the facility heads, and then take all of that and the past trend as well as the present trend and use this entire mix to create a thermal model for the building that can balance comfort as well as energy savings. It's well proven that green technologies and some of the more advanced technologies that we are talking about, AI, ML, cloud, wireless, all of these things, they pay for themselves fairly quickly. So you may have to pay 2% or 5% more than the normal traditional systems, but sometimes customers are not willing to do that. There is a lot of proof that says that with these technologies in place, in 2 to 3 years, you can easily recoup their investment. However, if customers are unwilling to do that, then we've come up with various innovative solutions for customers. So they could have a subscription model. So unlike a normal CapEx kind of a project where it's paid and there's something on delivery, something on installation and commissioning, and something post-installation, a subscription model is one where we would say that we space it out over 3 years or 5 years, as the case may be, and there's something which is paid every month. Then there are other models where there's a certain amount which is paid upfront and then a certain amount which is variable. And then there's other models as well, which is called a shared savings model or an OPEX model, where along with partners, we will provide the customers a solution whereby there's a certain, let's say, startup cost which is there that needs to be taken care of. And then post that on the outcome that we deliver, which could be energy savings, it could be a certain level of comfort, it could be a certain level of automation and monitoring. Energy savings tends to be fairly popular as an outcome. There is a certain percentage of the savings that would come to us as the solution provider, and a certain percentage that is kept by the client. And we space it out over 5 years or 7 years, as the case may be. And what these different solutions do is they help lower the initial barriers for customers. They help build credibility in the solution and the effectiveness of the solution. And post that, we make it flexible for customers if they wish to opt out of that agreement and buy it outright. Then for a certain fee, they can do that as well. So by doing these things and by bringing in financing into some of these areas, we hope to make it accessible to everybody. Okay. So yes, strategic collaborations are the order of the day because no one company can probably solve all the problems that are there. So which is why we partner. For example, we have partnerships with some of the biggest utilities that are there in the region. They provide a slew of energy efficiency solutions to their customers. It could be solar, it could be something like 75F, which is energy efficiency inside the building. It could be EV charging. So they would provide a whole host of such solutions to customers. And customers tend to want to look for a single window solution, one company who can provide them a multitude of solutions. So we partner with such companies. At other times, it could be perhaps large OEMs who are providing a large piece of equipment, and our equipment is sort of like the control layer, which can be wrapped around that equipment. So move as a bundle in the market. Uh, so those are also collaborations that we have and continue to look for. Um, and there could be numerous others where perhaps there's a solution that they are providing and we provide a fit in there. So the collaborations run all the way from engineering to um, you know product bundling to actual movement in the sales to financial structuring and fitment for the customer. So some of them include all of the above. We would collaborate at an engineering level, plus have product bundling, plus have sales teams moving together. And in some cases, it may be one or the other. So many different hues, and the end goal is to provide the customer easier access to these solutions, possibly better service since it's all under one umbrella. So yeah, many
That
different routes to market. So this is one of those. I think fairly comprehensive, and just that as buildings get smarter, as customers get more sophisticated, they're probably going to have their buildings running completely automated and want them to be smart, want them to be proactive, want them to be extremely energy efficient. Probably they'll be using voice and gesture-based controls to have them, have the buildings perform as per their desires. So those are the trends and those are the technologies that are coming, and we feel that we are well positioned to be a part of this movement that is driven both by the need for sustainability as well as governmental regulations, as well as client changes in terms of requirements.